What's up, Hacksters? Today we have Jeri Ellsworth, the founder and CEO of Tilt 5, a new augmented reality platform that's coming to Kickstarter. What's up, Jeri?
Hey, thanks for having me on.
So
A new,
it's one,
it's
oh,
a new,
sorry,
old new. Yeah.
old new. So this grew out of Café, right?
Yeah, it's a startup that I did a couple years ago, but the way things go in Silicon Valley, your investors push you to go fast and big, and sometimes it blows up in your face, but luckily we were able to recover.
It's a good thing you were able to salvage it. Yeah. So what
Yeah.
have you continued from the old version and what's new?
Um, so what's the difference? Technology's moved on quite a bit. So it's pretty freaking amazing the image processors and the various tech that we get to use now.
Mm.
So after my company imploded and we got all the assets back, and we took a breath, like that sucked, and then like, okay, what are we? What is our focus? Because that's one of the things that happened when we took our VC money is they just scrambled us and we were all over the place.
Oh boy.
What's our focus? What market are we going after? Like, how can we attack that market? And what's the latest tech? If we could just start over fresh, what would we do? And there's like these vision processors now, which are amazing, that just do so much. We were able to take our old system. You could plug it into this Android puck that we'd made that had a bunch of batteries and a big BP a cell phone processor in it, and we had to just turn it up to 11 just to make the AR experience happen.
Uh-huh.
But now this new chip, we're able to decouple everything that's coming from your computer or your cell phone, so your cell phone and computer can run at whatever frame rate it can generate the images, goes up to the headset, and then the headset upscales that to 180 frames per second, and then the head tracking to figure out where you are in the world is correcting for all of your head position and keeping everything locked on the table. So it's kind of funny. One of my favorite demos to do is like when I have someone over and they're going through the demo, and I turn off Unity, which is creating the game images, and then they're just sitting there, and I'm like, did you realize that the game's not even running? So it's like 0 frames per second, yet the image is still stable. It's kind of
Huh.
a
Whoa.
neat wow moment.
So they can just sort of look around and see it from all directions, even though it's not changing anymore?
It's really good at rotations and slight translations, but if you were to like take a 1 foot step to the side, there's not enough 3D information. So it's kind of funny, all these 3D things in the scene go, whoop, they kind of tip over.
Ah.
And that's the only time you realize that something's going on. It's kind of the bane of my existence. I'm always like hacking around in Unity, and it likes to crash a bunch. And so I'll be,
Oh.
looking in the glasses, and I'll be like waiting for something to happen. And it's just, the last image had been uploaded in Unity, had crashed, and it's just sitting there reprojecting. So I can sit there for like 30 seconds, not realizing that
Oh man.
the game engine's bombed out. It's
So
really neat.
oh yeah, we should go over really quick for our viewers what exactly the deal is. So you were talking about the headset and the board. They're part of this system that's designed for tabletop gaming, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So, I
cool.
mean, we're talking about, focus on what market. And so there's a lot of stuff you can do with AR, but
Yeah.
our system, we made some compromises to make it work really well for tabletop. So our system uses this retroreflective game board, which has this really cool property. I think you made a dress out of it, didn't
I
you?
sure did. I
Oh
love this
man.
stuff.
Next time you're nearby, wear it, come over, and then we'll project cool graphics all over you.
Yes.
But yeah, this retroreflective material is really cool stuff because the way it works is the light is emitted from the glasses. So there's two projectors in here that project this 110-degree field of view image out to the game board, and it hits the game board, and then all the light comes directly back. And so it does this 180-degree turn and comes back. So no one else can see the image that you're seeing because only you get the light.
Yeah.
It has all these other properties too, which are amazing because like all your ambient light in the room is retroreflecting back there. You don't have as much competition with ambient light. So you can actually be in pretty bright rooms, and because all the light's going away from you, you still get this super vivid, high contrast image. And
That's
then
so cool.
in other AR systems out there, like the ones that have waveguides and stuff that try to put the light directly into your eyes, there's like these serious challenges to make those work and make a great experience with them. So most of them are fixed focus. So means that they set it at like 3 or 4 meters away from you. And if you try to put a virtual object up close to you, you have to kind of force your eyes to focus at the wrong depth. And then when you want to take a real world object and then put graphics next to it, it just does not line up because the photons coming off your finger, for instance, and the photons off your virtual object are coming from 2 different focal planes. Our system, because the light goes out and gets these cones of light get focused back towards your eye, no matter where you are along this path to the game board, everything's correctly in focus. So, you know, when you use our wand, we were joking before we started, like everyone thinks
with the trigger, it's definitely a barbecue lighter. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's a barbecue lighter when they first see it.
But it also looks very wizardly.
Yeah, we were going for a magic wand, but you know, when you get to try our system, what's really amazing is we have all these demos where you like pull the trigger and something spawns on the end of the wand. And people that have experienced some of these other systems are like, oh wow, it really looks like it's there, because it doesn't look like it's there on other systems.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
On the glasses, I should have looked into this more, but it looks like maybe you're shining lights out from your face, right?
Yeah.
Ordinarily, I would be afraid that you're going to shine them into your friend's eyes when you try to look at each other. But it looks like they're reflecting off of like a beam splitter.
Yeah, this is a really special beam splitter, and I'll get into the brightness of the projector soon, but this beam splitter is quite a bit different than other beam splitters. I actually invented the optics behind this, and I'm super proud. Way. Yeah, I'm not an optical engineer, but I
totally believe that. Yeah.
I just 1,000 observations, and then all of a sudden things just kind of click sometimes. But this particular beam splitter is special because it controls the polarization every time it passes through all these films that we've laminated together. And so if you were to use, say, a 50-50 beam splitter and you project light down onto it, 50% of the light is wasted straight down, and only 50 goes out, and it hits the game board and comes back, and 50 goes up and is wasted. You only get 25% of the light to your eyes. So by controlling polarization and the way it reflects off these internal polarization-specific reflectors, we get about 85% efficiency.
What?
And then, so that brings me back around to why you don't blind your friends, because our projectors only put out 0.65 lumens of light. So you can't even, like when you're projecting on your hand in front of you, you can't even see it on your hand because it's just not enough light. But this kind of focusing effect of the retroreflector takes it all back to your eye. And it's as if those projectors were just shining straight into your eye. That's
so cool. And that allows you to have multiple people also looking at the same board, and it's not going to like overlap with each other or interfere.
Bingo. That's like one of the really cool features of our system. So you can have any number of your friends around the game board. And so let's just use D&D for an example. So you're the dungeon master, right? And so of course. You see all of the monsters and the traps and all the terrain, but all your friends around the table only get to see what you want them to see.
Right.
So you know the monsters behind that door. And so there's all this really fun theatrics that you can do. And we're announcing a partner with our Kickstarter that really enables all this D&D stuff. So D&D fans are going to love this. But you can actually, we have hand tracking. So you could do like all these really cool theatrics, like wave your hand over the game board and be like, an eerie mist settles into the village, right? And then there's actually an eerie mist coming out of your hand. I'm actually working on that demo now. I'll be showing it soon. And then, and they see the eerie mist, but they don't see the monster coming. The villagers told you not to enter the village, but you did anyway. And then boom, you trigger the monster and it springs up and it's revealed to everyone around the table.
Wow.
The theatrics, I'm super excited about that as far as a storytelling device. And then if your friends can't be with you, I'm also really excited about being able to take the game boards and link them together. So they're like these portals between 2 houses. So if your D&D crew or your gaming crew can't make it over, just link the game board. Now you have this shared volumetric space where, you know, if you reach in, you would actually see an avatar of your hand, or the eerie mist would be coming out of your hands. And because we have speaker and microphone, you're talking with each other, and we really want to try to make it feel like you're in the same room. And I think it has potential to actually do that.
This is actually one of my secret ulterior motives for talking to you about this. Besides the fact that it's mega awesome, I think that it could be really interesting to do telepresence with this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like
So
imagine
it's interesting.
conferences if you could see it all from above or whatever.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like this really great God's eye view into this like 3D space, and we've done a lot of testing with this. It's so neat when you link up some game boards and you're putting a physical object down, and you actually see people's hands approach this object, and it's on one side of the world it's a physical object, and on the other side it's a holographic representation of it, like an avatar of it. But it kind of feels like you're right there with each other. And even, one of the things that we immediately started doing is like just flipping each other off. Of course, right?
Naturally, yeah. So
there's always a power for good and bad with technology.
So we're talking on Monday. The Kickstarter goes live tonight, and I'm going to show people the screen.
Strike a midnight.
Wow, yeah. Oh wait, what time zone is that?
That is Pacific time zone.
Cool.
Hey, they updated our website to have the Kickstarter button. Fantastic.
Oh yeah. Click that button if you're interested in checking out Tilt 5. In the meantime, though, you can see tons of info on the official page, which is tilt5.com. And you've also been, I couldn't find this in the Twitter feed, but you've been doing live demos on Mondays, right? Sort of augmented reality Mondays or something?
Well, no, just random people coming through. So,
okay.
I mean, we're such a small team. We have to kind of control the amount of time we spend doing demos versus actually like getting ready to build these things. Like, I mean, we have production tooling now, but we have like all these little problems we're dealing with. Like the hinge is supposed to latch, and it's supposed to, it's supposed to be flush there, and like there's still a little bit of work to do on the manufacturing side.
What are you?
Yeah, we've been demoing. We went to Gen Con, which is this huge board game event. That was phenomenal. People's minds were we went to Penny Arcade, which is really cool because it's this really cool hybrid of board game and video game. Our system, I'm talking a lot about board game stuff, but it's also really good for video games. So that was really cool to see the video game people, really dig it. And we did a couple other events. And when we launch our Kickstarter tonight, we've been intentionally holding back information to try to make it a little more exciting. So
you've been hinting about stuff though. You mentioned cute robots, and I'm really curious.
Oh yeah,
of course.
So there's going to be games that come with our system. So we have a bit over a half dozen games that are going to come with it, and there's some cute robots associated with that. And we've been working with a bunch of third-party developers, and so we have a bunch of announcements over the month associated with all these partners. My previous startup, I learned some really valuable lessons. I'm a techie, right? So my natural inclination is just to go and talk about reprojection at 180 hertz and this and that, but that's not what consumers, besides your audience, care about.
Yeah, totally.
Everyone cares about the complete package, and so I don't think the first time round I totally embraced that. And then, of course, when more people came on, it just continued to not be like a top priority. So when we took that step back, a group of us were like, all right, where are we weak? Oh, we need to have great content. We need to be a complete package, like just not a cool piece of tech for tech's sake. And so we've been at this almost 2 years now, since we rebootstrapped everything. And so the entire time, my co-founders forbid me to do technical stuff, which didn't work. But I definitely spent like probably 80% of my time out doing the business side and working on finding partners and trying to really, what's the best package we can put together to make this a real product.
Yeah, it's cool to hear about. I'm actually curious about that. I pulled up this tweet of yours where you're like, I've been learning some of the landmines to avoid, and I'm finding plenty more to step on. And I'm so curious about like what those landmines are that you're talking about.
Well, I think one of the biggest things I learned well, number one, focus. That was already covered that. But the
Right.
second thing was to believe in myself. So
Awesome.
one of the things I did pretty early on in the previous startup is I was really nervous about running a venture-backed startup. And so I went out and got a CEO to run the company, and he was quite good. And we got along and we're growing the company quite well. But he was so new to the company at the time. When the investors came in, they're like,
Oh yeah.
"You got to get rid of him. Got to get an upgrade. We got to get."
Ah,
And um, I had a relationship with the other CEO, and we understood our vision. But once the new CEOs and presidents and stuff came in, they pretty much just stuck me in the corner and said, like, just shut up, sit in the corner, invent things. I mean,
good. I mean, that
pretty
I kind of
bluntly.
like the sound of that, but at the same time, it sounds kind of insulting. What was your take?
I mean, I had mixed feelings about it. It was like, okay, maybe I put a lot of faith in our investors. I'm like, yeah, maybe they literally use the kind of trite term, we're bringing the rainmakers in.
What?
What? Yeah. Yeah, weird. But then when things started going off the rails and I started to be like, this is wrong, we need to get back on track. They're like, nope, nope, just sit in the corner. We already told you to sit in the corner.
Yikes.
So that was a big mistake on my part, like kind of delegating, the vision of the company. And so my co-founders, when this opportunity to strap the company came along, they're like, we're not going to do this unless you're always the CEO. Like you've always had the vision of like what this product can do and what future products can do. And so we made that agreement. And so that's opened up some interesting situations in the last couple of years because we're venture backed. I had to go raise money from VCs and strategic partners to make this all happen.
Mm.
And there were times when we were near death, right? Because we didn't have enough money. We were like 4 weeks away from being out of money or something like that. And so I'm going talking to these VCs, and the VCs be like, well, we'll give you money, but you need adult supervision, which is just code for, we're going to bring our guys in and you're going to
Yeah.
sit in the corner and be a tech founder. And so it was hard to, just stand up and walk out of the room when there was money on the table I could get, but it's like really bad money that was
Yeah.
going to destroy the company.
And you'd already
And
been there.
and so I'd go back to the team and be like, hey, that group of investors is a bust. I know things aren't looking good, but, and we always pulled through, right? So everything worked out.
Yeah, you
Could
came
well
back in the
not,
game.
but
And what?
it could have well not. But, I think a valuable lesson is, maybe you should just let your company crash and burn, then bring in bad people who are going to make it crash and burn bigger later, right?
If it crashes and burns, then at least it crashes and burns in your way, right?
Yeah, my terms.
That's
I
how
think
I
you've
feel
been doing
about
a great
hair. It's
job.
like,
Well, that's the thing. At the previous startup, I was just sitting on the sidelines watching, going like, my gut tells me like spending $750,000 on a marketing campaign is a really bad idea. But I don't know. These guys are from Disney. They must know, right?
mm,
But it turns out my gut instinct was correct. And so we get to run the company the way we want to run it now, which is really cool. So, when we brought in the professionals, we got all corporate and we stopped talking to the community and we stopped, having a lot of fun. And so we
yeah.
made the decision that, damn it, we're going to run the company the way we want it. We spent a bunch of time talking about ethics. Like we're all about privacy. We're the anti-Facebook,
Yeah. Not like
we're
that one with the EEG scanning or whatever they're trying to do there.
Oh, we should cover
Like
that in a second. That frightens me.
who thought that was a good idea?
So I want to come back to that because that's one of my big hot buttons.
Oh yeah.
And I think I have some interesting insight about it, being an engineer that worked on some of that stuff and now having like kind of had time to dwell on the ethics of it. But, you know, really what we've done is like, we're going to be really transparent. We're going to take a bunch of risks, especially on social media. We're going to like send thousands of gifts out and we're going to be a little edgy and we're going to let our personality shine. And it turns out well, I have no other data point, but I mean, seems like our social media following is like great and people love us and they're believing in us and
Yeah.
way different than before. So now my hot button,
Mm.
I'm totally frightened by the big surveillance companies like Facebook and Google making AR glasses because,
Yeah.
rewind, I worked at Valve Software 7, 8 years ago. And so when I was there, they gave me the mandate to put together this team to bring the whole family together in the living room to play games, very much like Tilt 5. And so we did all this fundamental research, and we did a lot of like emotion detection research in biometrics. And we had really high accuracy, like just simple things like eye tracking and posture and heart rate and things like that. You can get a read on someone that's 80, 90% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And so, back then I really wasn't thinking much about the implications of this. So it's like, this is a real, and I think a lot of engineers at maybe some of these big monolithic companies are like this too. They're like, this is a really tough challenge I've been given, and I love nerding out on it. And I'll just let the executives think about the ethical
Yeah, and
implications.
there's also this idea of like someone's gonna build it anyway, so we might as well be first.
Yeah, and I think I might have kind of fallen into that trap. Although I don't think Valve software is like malicious
Yeah.
like a Facebook would be, um, but I was completely just ignoring the implications of what I was doing. And so now, fast forward, I've been able to think about it. I have my own company, and we think about the ethics because we saw like our ethics go down the toilet at the previous startup,
Hmm.
and I'm frightened. Like if we had the Facebook glasses or the Google glasses or something that were reading our emotions,
Uh-huh.
outward facing cameras digitizing the world, knowing that I'm talking to you and reading
Yeah.
my emotion, and then logging that away and sending that to advertisers to influence me, like horrible, horrible stuff is
I
going
mean,
to
I
happen.
have a lot of feelings about being a person who broadcasts video every day because of that. But yeah, and
Well,
it's also a fun thing.
yeah, but I mean, to be able to peer into someone's mind and then
Yeah.
cater an advertisement to that particular person to
Mhm.
manipulate them. I mean, Facebook was doing ads for, conversion therapy for people that are gay, letting advertisers target people that were openly gay on Facebook. That's disgusting that they're
Yeah.
monetizing that kind of stuff. Anyway, I do not want to have a pair of glasses that pretty much puts the like button on every single thing in the world, including myself when I look in the mirror.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, off my high horse. I think we all should be thinking about this because it's coming in the next decade for sure.
Yeah, what are the choices that you've made based on those ethics? Like, what are the design choices in the Tilt 5 system? Like, I guess you can't really use it outside of the board for one thing.
When we think about this, there's a lot of biometrics that we can just read off of our current headset. And of
Right.
course, we made the decision we're not going to phone those back home because we have no business looking at those at all. So that was one of the things.
That's cool.
And we're working on a document. Eventually, we'll get it out there. That's kind of where we stand. And there's actually a whole group of folks in the AR space. Some people may know Avi Barzev is heading up a bunch of this just to help define the ethics around this really intrusive piece of technology that's coming.
Wow, cool, yeah.
I mean, Facebook's going to an extreme. They're like trying to put fiber optic bundles against your head to actually read your brain waves. It's like, where are they going to stop?
Plus, like, they're so bent on identifying everyone in the world. Like, if they
Yeah,
could easily, you can easily sell a thing that's like, help you remember names of everyone. So just log everyone's faces and put your tags on them. And
I
like,
know. And people are just going to fall for this. It's just
yeah,
horrifying
yeah,
because they're going to sell it as a value, and arguably there is some value in it. But
yeah. That's the
what
scary
they
part.
do with it is they don't have a track record.
Hmm.
Anyway.
So, back to the nerdy part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
we want to sort of get off of it, this is fascinating though, and really important. At the
Yeah.
same time, I'm really curious about your controller. What's the deal with the sound card?
The barbecue lighter.
Yeah.
So we showed this for the first time on Twitter or something recently, and people were like, what is that, a barbecue lighter? So we immediately went out and made a barbecue lighter demo where you pull the trigger and a little flame lights up and you move around. And it's, there's a lot of different ways to interact with our system. So one of the most direct ways is through buttons, right? So, buttons are instantaneous. So our controller, we have analog trigger, an analog joystick, a bunch of buttons that are instantaneous. And then it's super precise because it's got these LEDs in here that the headset is. Yeah, there's a bar of LEDs down in there. And
are they infrared or visible?
Infrared. Cool. Our glasses actually have 2 infrared cameras running on different wavelengths of light, which is pretty clever, I think, if I don't say so myself. That's actually one of the first innovations I made in the old company.
Cool.
Which means our system can run in the dark because we emit infrared from the headset, and our wand emits infrared. You work in daylight.
You have 2 wavelengths, so you can tell like the headset is doing one wavelength and the wand is doing another one, or?
Yeah, so in the headset we have 2 cameras. One is super wide field of view. It's 145-degree field of view. So that's for head tracking and for wand tracking. So that gives you this huge volume right in front of you, pretty much anywhere you want to reach in front of you to track the wand, and it tracks the board even if you're not looking at the game board.
This is great because I'm a flailer.
Yeah.
I'll flail with the wand, and it's good to know.
The one thing you can't do is get sub-millimeter accuracy tracking behind your head.
Okay.
We have an IMU in the wand, so it keeps. You can do your fishing game, but you're just not going to be.
But the back scratching game, you're not going to get the points.
It's out. I'm sorry, folks. If you choose not to back. Yeah, cameras on the back.
Yeah.
And then the other one that runs on a totally different wavelength, and we chose these wavelengths very specifically. So we chose 940 nanometer for the other camera, which is this 8 megapixel high resolution camera. It's a little narrower field of view, which is more directed in front of you. This was chose specifically because your skin reflects it very well. And then there's these really cool security inks, which are transparent to the visible spectrum, but look completely black to the camera. So if you have grab a playing card, you take a playing card, you can print this invisible ink on there. You can have unique markers on the cards and get a pose off the card and do really cool stuff. Like you put some of the reflective material on the front. You could have a game character standing inside the reflective material, and then when you tap it on the table, it springs out of the card. So that's going to open up a lot of possibilities.
That's pretty sweet.
Another reason we put it on a different wavelength is head tracking is pretty consistent. Like it's just looking for the game board. The game board's retroreflective, so it shows up really easy. So we can do really short pulses of infrared light, which gets rid of all the motion blur and means we can run the camera super fast. But like if you're doing something super complicated, like we can detect regular print on cards too if you change the exposure. So we want to be able to change the exposure depending on what you're looking at. And you can also do, train up an algorithm to detect complicated 3D objects, which would take yet another different type of exposure. And so, I mean, this little toy dragon, you could train up an algorithm to detect this. And then when you put this on the table, it detects where it is, and then your friends across the world see the position and rotation of your little toy dragon.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and potentially in the future we could digitize your dragon just by spinning it around in front of you.
Cool. You mentioned with that second wavelength that it reflects off of skin very well, and I'm assuming that you tested this with people with multiple skin colors, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I misstated. It doesn't reflect off of the outside of your skin very well. It kind of reflects off of all your guts.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's super creepy because you see like tendons and veins and stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It works really well with different skin colors because it just pretty much goes through pigments. Your techie crowd will probably find this interesting. So organic dyes typically have a band gap, which is pretty transparent to infrared light. So infrared light will go through it, like skin pigments are pretty much like food coloring. They're organic dyes. Whereas you have something like a laser printer, which is carbon and other non-organics, band gaps are usually such that they're very black to this infrared camera.
And you can kind of do that mod on a digital camera, get the near IR. You can modify it if you
See
remove
through
it.
people's
Red,
clothes.
and like,
Yeah.
yeah, and I can be like super gothed out, look wearing like all black, and like half of it is gray, half of it is black, and like some of it is white as well. Because
It's neat stuff. I dye my hair because I'm
uh-huh.
old now and I have to do it chemically. But what's so funny is when I look and use the 940 camera, my hair looks blonde.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I get the
weird.
same effect.
But one of our colleagues, she has like black hair, natural black hair. It just looks black. So
So I want to let you get back to all the
yeah,
crazy whirlwind of launch day or
yeah,
pre-launch day.
pre-launch.
I have
Yeah.
one final question, which it should be easy. What is Tilt 5? What is the name?
Oh, Till Five's an inside joke that I can never tell you.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes down to the spirit of our company. Like it's, we went through like 1,000 different names and some of them were quite good. But in the end, we're like, none of them feel like us. And let's just make something that makes us laugh. And that's generic enough that,
yeah, it sounds kind of corporate. It sounds like it could be a game thing, but
yeah, a lot of people think it's something to do with pinball because I'm into pinball, but it has
yeah,
nothing to
Tilt,
do with
yeah,
pinball.
totally. Well, if you won't answer that one, I'm gonna hit you with another one, which is
Okay.
also naming related. You've got all these cool photos up of the different prototypes and stuff, and you mentioned that the PCB is called Archie, ARCHIE, which I assume is like augmented reality something. Like, what's the deal with that?
Oh, geez.
Can you say or cannot say again?
No, I could say if I
Okay,
could
cool.
remember.
Oh,
You have to put this in the show notes. So we made this new circuit board and we just put it out on Twitter like, hey, we'll give you some free swag if you come up with a name for this board.
oh,
And our fans came up with the name Archie. So it's like augmented reality, something, something. Let me yell. Computational hyper integration engine. Augmented reality, computational hyper integration engine. Did you
all
catch that?
right. Yeah, I mean, I can always play it back and get it and put it in the show notes, as you say.
It's such a great name. They did such a good job. And of course, there were tons of Bodie McBoatface and
Of course.
AR AR face and stuff. But I don't know. I'm really proud that we just let the fans come up with the name.
Yeah,
It's such a
I love
good
it.
name.
'Huh?
And it's such a good name.
It's a
Now we
great
use it.
name.
I was just writing to one of my colleagues and saying, like, how's it going with the Archie board? So
I
it's a thing.
have a robot owl called Archimedes, and I call him Archie for short, so it's like
Aw.
also close to my heart. It's a great name.
So what's funny is um, we tried and tried and tried to come up with a name for the glasses, and we finally just like screw it. It's going to be the Tilt 5 glasses, and then on our Kickstarter we have different tier levels.
Uh-huh.
So LE and XE, and just some kind of 2-letter things that people can latch on to. But everything seemed too kitschy to us as we were, trying to come up with a name. And we had PSD from the Cast AR days, like
Uh-huh.
we spent all that money for rebranding, and like the name that they came up with was for the glasses was going to be called Voyage AR.
Hmm.
But when you read it, it read Voyager.
Hmm.
And so like the execs in this ad agency went off and came up with this name, and they did the big presentation in front of the 60 people in front of the company, and everyone's just jaw dropped. They're like, no, no.
Yeah, and sometimes you just need to not be too precious about it. Like, not everything needs to have like a cute little.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. So people can find this on Kickstarter starting at midnight tonight. By the time we release it, it will probably be already up, and I'm assuming already funded because holy crap.
I hope so.
Yeah. Find it at tilt5.com. Just hit the Back Us on Kickstarter button. You can also follow Tilt5 on Twitter.
Only if you don't mind an endless stream of silly gifts.
Excellent, yes.
And we
Oh,
put
this is a good one.
and we put you to work. Like if you're on there, you have to do stuff for us. Like come up with names.
Well, perfect. You can participate in the next round of naming.
Oh, you brought up that picture you have there is
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We love to see the nuts and bolts and the prototypes and stuff.
Okay, quick story if you have time for it on
Yeah,
this one.
sure.
All right, so the very first time, about 4 or 5 years ago, when we were going to show the glasses off, we had some really clunky prototypes, but we had to try to compress it down into roughly a glasses form factor. And
Mm,
we're taking it to Maker Faire of all places. We chose Maker Faire to launch the product. And
great.
so I built 5 glasses and they all looked like this inside. So what that is all those colorful wires are micro coax that send video down the cable.
Whoa.
The black chip is an FPGA, which was doing like a bunch of image processing for the tracking and the displays. And I don't know, I guess when I hand assembled these things, I didn't have surface mount LEDs of the right type or something.
Uh-huh.
So that big red LED
Uh-huh.
was like dead bugged hanging off of the
Oh,
pads.
yeah.
Yeah, and then so that all got jammed inside the headset and then just conformally coated with hot glue. I think that was, I can see hot glue on it was probably midstream.
Yeah.
But I mean, we took it there and we had 5 of the glasses. I'm like, yeah, probably by like day 0.5, like half the way through the day, the glasses are going to be completely all dead because they're so janky. They made
Uh-huh.
it. And then these prototypes, we used them as dev units for like 6 months. It was pretty,
Wow.
yeah.
Awesome.
Anyway, that's the story behind that.
Hot glue, there's no shame in hot glue. The stuff
I
works,
love
you
hot
know?
glue.
It works. Yeah, speaking of FPGAs, I just final thing. I remember
Oh,
you made this Commodore 64 base and like I was looking at this video on also speaking of Make, uh just like
oh,
whole process of making it and stuff and the FPGA doing the processing on it. It's so
oh,
cool. It's like the first project I saw of yours and I'm like, oh, so rad. Anyway, everyone should check this out.
oh yeah, that was a really special project. That got stolen.
No
So
way.
I know it's really sad. So we were doing a game jam, and we had a bunch of people over, and someone that came over at the game jam just picked it up and walked out with it. And
Wow.
so people kept telling me like, you need to rebuild that, and I just decided like, no,
No new stuff.
some things you just had to have been there to
Yeah.
experience them, and now that it's gone, who knows where it is? Like it's more fondly remembered than.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. I used the FPGA to measure the frequency on the each string as it was strummed, and then I converted that to register accesses to the original SID sound chip
Oh my goodness.
that was in the Commodore. Like I could have easily just emulated the SID, but that
That's
wasn't.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was some kind of pre-processing board. There's the FPGA.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
We got. Oh yeah, here's the SID.
and there's some big giant gnarly state machine in there because I had to like do the frequency count and then I had to convert it to like all this bus transaction to talk to the SID and then map it to the correct octaves. And but it
Mm-hmm.
had all these really cool modes, so you could do square waves and
Oh
sine.
yeah, I've wanted to make a square wave base with like 555s or something. Oh,
Do it, totally do it.
hell yeah.
I actually talked to someone that worked on these synth guitars that can remap real guitars to other sounds. And I was a little embarrassed. I'm like, I just did this kind of cheesy, so long ago, I can't remember exactly, but it was a frequency count basically. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cheesy, just a frequency count. He's like, you can't do it with an FFT, because I thought like the right way would have been to do an FFT. He's like,
Uh-huh.
you can't do it with an FFT. It's too much latency. You did it the right way. So if you ever do it, frequency count is the right way with just a lot of custom filtering around it to make sure that you land on the correct note.
Solid.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you so much for
So
joining.
fun. The Till5 project means a lot to me. And so I hope people will consider backing it. It's been a passion project of mine for over 5 years. And
It looks so magical. That's like the only word that I can
yeah, it is. It is. It's really special.
yeah. Well, thanks
All
so
right.
much and great luck with the Kickstarter. Ah!
All right. Thank you.
Cheers.